Greetings, all! Today, we'll be examining the Fire Ghost-type Ultra Beast Blacephalon, the Fireworks Pokémon. More than a bit alien in appearance and able to clear any room with smoke and lights, Blacephalon are powerful creatures that can make terrific use of their natural abilities to frighten and blow away the competition with a great show of force.
Blacephalon have thin bodies with striped multicolored torsos and limbs, having white lower legs that come to a two-toed point like a pair of high heels, as well as white digiless hands of a sort, with white frilled collars of bodily material around their neck and wrists, further possessing a blue ball of flesh on their right ankle, a purple one on the left ankle, and a pair of white flesh balls near the lower middle part of their torso. They also have a detached round head that is covered in a dot-like array of blue and pink spots, with eyes on the side of the head with a pink and purple star-like shape and yellow pupils in the center.
Blacephalon are the only known ghost-type Ultra Beasts, and their unusual forms are a distinct reference to the otherworldly qualities that they possess.
Instead of being made of a recognizable form of living tissue, Blacephalon bodies are constructed from highly condensed, solidified spiritual energy with a physical structure that resembles nothing ever before seen on Earth. This not only explains their oddly low mass despite their noticeable size, but it also grants them access to the same powers that traditional ghost types have, making classification of them as such fairly easy. What really makes Blacephalon distinct, however, is their natural access to fire-type attacks and abilities, as few other ghost types have the power to produce such flames readily. For most of their fire-type attacks, this seems to be the result of them emitting flammable gases from the hole where their neck would normally be, that they then ignite with a small burst of charged spiritual energy. In the case of one particular attack, however, things are much different. Blacephalon is one of the few known Ultra Beasts to have its own signature attack, known as the Mind Blown attack, and its incredible power makes it a devastating weapon to use in battle. Unlike most living organisms, the core of these creatures' central nervous system, or at least what is akin to one, is located inside of their spindly bodies. The only thing of note that is actually in their head, which itself is made out of spiritual energy and can be phase changed from a solid to a gas if they know someone is going to touch them as a friendly gesture, that they need are their eyes, which are disguised as small yellow circles on the sides of their head. Because their head is connected to the body only by a tether of spiritual energy and not a physical object, these creatures can roll their heads around and even lightly juggle them to unnerve their targets. As such, it is possible for these creatures to decapitate themselves by severing this bond, subsequently using their head as a projectile. While it might seem fairly pointless since the attack looks to be a weak strike even when the head is fully solidified, and is so taxing on the creatures that it depletes 50% of their maximum HP just to regenerate a new head, those that find this attack coming their way will likely be deathly surprised shortly after the head is thrown, as it will detonate in a massive explosion of light when it gets fairly close to an opponent. The reason for this is that the outside of the head is covered in an explosive excreted from the ball-like structures dotting its surface when in a solid state, and while the explosive is stable enough for the head to be lightly juggled around a bit without setting it off, if enough frictional force is applied to it from extreme rotation in the air, it triggers a devastating thermal decomposition reaction that causes the head to explode, sending out a shower of colorful light as a result of the aluminum, calcium chloride, strontium carbonate, and copper chloride contained in the ball structure that otherwise keeps the explosive material in a solid form.
As a whole, this attack is by far one of the most powerful out of any fire-type move, and can be a devastating weapon when combined with their powerful special offenses, especially considering the exposure to the effects of the Beast Boost after initially entering this world results in the fresh exposure to Ultra Wormhole energy, sharply raising their special attack stat, about twice as much as normal.
This is all further complemented by their impressive combat capabilities. As while these strange beasts might not have a great deal going for them in terms of defense or stamina, they are quite fast in their feet and can make great use of offense of all types to inflict massive damage onto others. Their base attack, special attack, and speed stats all being above average for a fully evolved fire and ghost type Pokemon, further possessing the highest base special attack stat out of all ghost and fire type Pokemon, and the highest base stat total out of all non-legendary fire type Pokemon, tied with Iron Moth, rendering them a terrifying force to have to face in almost any conflict.
Since their bodies are fairly spindly and do not have much in the way of defense, preferring to go fully offensive and use their great agility to the utmost, these beasts have had to develop a sneaky way to acquire the energy they need to survive.
Much like other ghost types, these creatures tend to feed on life energy primarily and must do so on a regular basis, especially since their condensed bodies need a great deal of the energy source in order to self-repair any damage their attacks might do to themselves. When these creatures come across a prey item ripe for the picking, they will stay low to the ground and slither rapidly with their hands kept as upright as possible to avoid triggering the contact explosive on the surface too easily. Once they are close enough and their prey have their backs turned, these creatures will decapitate themselves quietly and throw their heads at the target. The resulting explosion is usually more than enough to stun the prey item, giving Blacephalon the chance to wrap around them and steal a large portion of the life energy, slithering away just as quickly afterwards. This can make them exceptionally difficult to harm as well, as their thin frames allow them to easily twist and sway to avoid incoming attacks, often dancing about and making poses in the process to mock their opposition out of fun. This kind of attitude can make them fun to work with, but it equally can make them a pain, as they enjoy pulling pranks on their explosive heads on a regular basis, not only robbing them of critical health they might need for a fight, but oftentimes causing much more damage than they care to consider before using their signature attack. As a whole, this makes Blacephalon a potential threat to both trainers and opponents alike, and is definitely behavior that should be curbed quickly to avoid potential disaster on a frequent basis.
These creatures don't like to clown around if they're in the middle of showing off, and the terrible pun aside, this can make them one of the scariest ultra beasts that we know of today. We don't really even know where these beasts come from, and one would like to think that it could be a magical place given how zany the physical forms look. I'm equally nervous that it might not be a great idea to go there if this is what the native population looks like. That aside, Blacephalon are powerful monsters that might not be able to take a hit well, but they can sure as heck dish out some serious punishment with their potent attacks, and the mind-blown attack is by far the deadliest of them all. Sure, it might be very costly for them in terms of stamina and health, but the attack's sheer power can still make it a terrible force to have faced in battle, especially since they don't have to recharge after using it like you might have seen attacks like Blast Burn that have a similar power level. The good news to all of this, at least, is that these creatures are not the aggressive type. It can even be communicated with clearly if given enough space, albeit with lights and hand motions. As a whole, while I do have my reservations about wanting to be near one of these bizarre beasts, they can prove to be a lot of fun for people to play around with, and more than deserve some positive attention to bring to light their better qualities over just how dangerous and explosive their natures can be.
Creepy as they may be to most, and more than a bit trigger-happy with their own explosive heads, Blacephalon are both gorgeous and incredibly destructive creatures that can make life a living nightmare for those unprepared for their intense offensive power. You may not be likely to ever come across one due to their elusive nature in the world, but that just makes it more than likely that you can go in unprepared and end up more than a bit floored by their intense light shows and spiritual powers.
Just do yourself a favor and try not to get too close to one if you come into the vicinity of a specimen, or the dazzling light shows they can put on with their heads might just blind you with a sudden explosive flash at the end, not to mention scorching and frying you at the same time.
Thank you for watching this video. It brings me great joy to be able to speak to you all in the world each and every time we meet like this, to explore the many different facets of both the world of Pokemon as we know it, and the world as we live it, through every adventure we have with Pokemon by our side. If you'd like to, please subscribe, ring the bell and all that jazz to keep yourself updated on content uploads and other materials of the like. You can also follow me on Twitter if you'd like to know right away when something new is uploaded, and my written works, from which most of this is based on, can be found on DeviantArt. Links to both can be found in the description down below. Remember that the world of Pokemon is a place full of wonder and mystery, and you never know what to expect. So, stay vigilant, keep watch, and always be prepared for the unexpected. Until next time, trainers and friends of all sorts, have a wonderful time.